Well, what's up again, my friends? Good afternoon. Welcome back. I was getting ready to head home from work, and I decided I'd just make a quick video just to kind of unload some thoughts. I'm trying not to have too many thoughts lately. In fact, I've been practicing kind of you know, what I'm going to talk about here, which is being silent and listening to your breath. Like, I just got done with a day of work, and all day long, I'm focused on what I'm doing. Naturally, you have to direct your focus to your work, but there's always that inner chatter that goes on. You know, it might just be thinking something to ourselves, thinking about later, thinking about yesterday. And I've over the years been, trained myself not to think about the past or worry about what may have happened in the past. It's not it's not relevant to what's happening now, unless it's a lesson that I can learn from, of course, and it's just coming back because, don't make that mistake again. But generally, thinking about the future is only as productive as having goals set. Like right now, my wife and I are trying to get into our dream house, and so I have to have my mind focused on the future, which is going to work, doing my daily activities, getting things done, which can be pretty difficult in today's atmosphere and environment. There's so much going on, not just in the world. I mean, I can ignore that. I don't see what happens overseas. I don't have to pay attention to politics. If I find myself, you know, too distracted, I just easily just don't read up on it. But of course, there's always the personal things that we have, which usually pale, the rest of the shit pales in comparison. What they would call first world problems. So you've got to deal with, changing your insurance, or you've got to talk to the bank about something, or change your phone carrier, or you're late on your mortgage, all these little things that add up, taxes. And we find ourselves constantly pulled away from that silence. There was a time when, as a human, if you were fed and you had your harvest in for the season, you could take a moment to sit and reflect and relax. But in this environment we have, it's this go, go, go attitude always. It's the kind of hustle culture that we live in, which I personally, I don't buy into, but I also understand because it's essential. In other words, nobody wants to have to go work a full-time job. Our ancestors didn't work 8 hours a day, depending on circumstances and where they lived, but it would be more of seasonal work. But we bought into a system because we had to live in that system. The Industrial Revolution is all we know. And now, growing up in the tech revolution, it's funny when you sit back and realize that most of us live like kings in the past. That most of us in the Western world, we actually eat better and live more luxurious than a lot of the most wealthy people, hundreds of years ago, just because of the evolution of progress and technology. But it's not enough, because it's not what we really want. We don't want stuff. We thought we wanted stuff, but what we really want is peace of mind. And peace of mind comes from living each moment and being aware of that moment. It sounds so ridiculous and simple and hippy dippy. And I know a lot of people, the old be here now and Ram Dass, it's one of the most phenomenal teachings there ever was. Just being here now, just anytime you find yourself wandering, take a deep breath and bring yourself back to center. And if you do that all the time, you keep practicing that, I promise that a lot of the things that we worry about tend to fade away. They fall away. It doesn't mean that we neglect things. That's definitely something I've done in my life. Neglected these, social things that I have to deal with, finances and crap like that. But in general, I've learned to manage my stress. And I guess I'm just sharing because I feel like if everybody was able to manage their stress better, there wouldn't be so much conflict, you know? Simple concept. Anyway, I guess I better hit the road because I need to get home, make some dinner, order some stuff from Home Depot, and continue doing those little things. And if you're like me and you've got a big long list of shit you need to do that holds you back from kind of living in the moment, start knocking that list off one thing at a time. You know, one thing at a time. That's all we can do. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to y'all next time. Be well. Take care of each other. All that jazz. Bye.